Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk about skincare, grooming, and sometimes hair, so that sounds like your thing. Make sure you are subscribed. Also, come and follow me on Instagram where I post a lot of stuff you're not going to see here on YouTube. Instagram beauty gurus, we all know the ones. I've talked about them before. They're the ones who make those videos where they point at their face and they say no, and they're always like, there's always something wrong with their face that they're like no about. And they're always pumping out content, like it's incredible. I do have a lot of respect for them. But there's quite a few mistakes that they do that bothers me a little bit because they know they're making those mistakes. These are mistakes that are purposely made in order to make the video look more appealing. Weird little quirks. And whilst these may be weird little quirks, they are mistakes and can be quite misleading if you don't really know how to use skincare or you're new to skincare. So today I want to talk about some of the mistakes that Instagram beauty gurus make that they know they're making. We're also going to have a big brand in here that's made quite a few mistakes. I will be showing the Instagrammers, and I mean no disrespect to them, they're obviously incredibly hard workers. They've got the following that they have for a reason, but what they're very good at is making visually appealing content. So you can't fault them there. And as always, I'm not a dermatologist, I'm not an esthetician, but these mistakes are quite obvious. You don't really have to be anything other than a passionate consumer like myself to know that these are mistakes. So let's get into it. And I think the main one that people joke about all the time when they're talking about Instagram beauty influencers is the over application of serum. This is frustrating on a few levels. One, because serum is so expensive, so expensive. A lot of them use like makeup serum hybrids as well that are just as expensive, if not more. And what they're doing with these serums is dripping them all down their face. Some of them it's on their forehead and they're going into their eyes, down into their mouth. It's just crazy, absolute craziness. So it's annoying because it's a waste of money, but it's also annoying because you don't need that much serum or ampoule. Serums and ampoules are highly concentrated usually. So you need a couple of small dots on your face. Overusing a serum or ampoule, especially depending on the ingredients, if it's got any active ingredients in, can have adverse effects and do more damage than good. So there's no need to be dripping it on your face. If you're new to skincare and you see these people on Instagram doing this, you might think that that's the way to use a serum, and you're wasting your money and you could be compromising your skin. In fact, over application of products seem to be a thing within the beauty guru space. Let's talk about a very popular one, and that is using eye patches wrong. I think I've mentioned this before, but one thing that a lot of people are doing, beauty gurus and not beauty gurus, if you just search the tag eye patches on Instagram, you'll see that people are putting eye patches with a wash-off mask. It might sound fine, but these eye patches are the hydrogel, you know, the thick hydrogel eye patches that are soaked in a serum that you put under your eyes, you leave on for 10 to 15 minutes, take them off, then gently pat in the serum like you would do a serum or an eye cream, and you leave it on your face to work. When you're teaming these with wash-off products, like a clay mask, you keep your clay mask on for the 10-15 minutes, however long it tells you to, then wash it all off. But of course, if you're doing this with eye patches, you're washing away all that serum. So yeah, it's very confusing because brands push this as well. For example, the video I'm showing you now, I'm pretty sure it's all Pixi products and they sell this as a collective. So it does make sense that people think you can use these in conjunction with each other, which you can. But the whole point really is to use that eye patch serum on. But again, it makes an interesting video and it makes a very nice picture as well, as we can see. Let's talk about the order of skincare in these videos. I saw a very interesting post. I believe it was from a cosmetics formulator. I don't know. I'll leave the link down below. Who actually mentioned that there's not much in terms of studies or reasoning as to why, when it comes to applying products, you should apply from thinnest to thickest. In fact, some dermatologists and estheticians have actually said that you should apply serums with active ingredients after a moisturizer, which is very interesting. I'd feel super uncomfortable doing that, but if that's the best way to do it, maybe that's the best way to do it. But there are steps that we just know go in a particular order. For example, oils before moisturizer. We know your moisturizer and all good ingredients will not be able to get through that oil because it's oil. And things like misting toners after a moisturizer. Again, there's no reason to do that. There's this one video from a company that I used to work for, ASOS.com. I was one of their kind of personal shoppers, stylists. I presented their YouTube channel along with a few of the other stylists. And they've more recently made some skincare content that is very questionable. In this video, they show how to use a clay mask. And it's wrong. It's not what you do. So in this video, they've directed the model to apply a clay mask to a dirty face, leave the clay mask on, wash it off, and then cleanse. That should be the other way around. He then goes on to apply a moisturizer and finishes off with an eye cream. Again, that should be the other way around. We know this, it's basics. And it's kind of frustrating when, you know, your beauty gurus, your influencers have a certain following. We have massive brands like ASOS who can hire the help to know better, telling their customers how to wrongfully use products that they sell on their site. Wasting your money, that's what it is. I kind of want to storm back in there and be like, what are you doing? Let's talk about dermarolling and dermastamping. Dermarolling had such positive impacts on my skin as far as dark spots, texture, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. It worked really, really well for me. However, I do feel like nowadays it's kind of seen as a bit of a trendy thing to do. And it's become a bit of a dangerous, gimmicky trend, which is the opposite of how you should be looking at putting needles in your face. I say this because you see a lot of brands now, especially on Instagram, selling this pack of like a derma roller and a gold sheet mask, a gold hydrogel sheet mask, like they're a combination, like they should go together, which they shouldn't. And what they're doing is they're gifting these products to big influencers and they're just using them all wrong. So let's take a look at Nikki Tutorials. I love Nikki Tutorials, but this sponsored post is a bit of a mess, but a perfect example of what a lot of beauty, Instagram beauty influencers are doing. They apply this thick hydrogel mask, then roll the derma roller over the top. This is complete nonsense for a few reasons. First of all, derma rollers need to penetrate the skin. When you're rolling over a hydrogel mask, it's not penetrating your skin, it's barely even penetrating the mask. It's like shaving with a toothbrush. This is going to have no effect whatsoever. But also, looking across websites, wholesale websites that sell these gold sheet masks, they're usually soaked in a serum that contain things like salicylic and glycolic acid, vitamin A, basically things that shouldn't be used in conjunction with derma rolling. There are very, very few things you can use in conjunction with derma rolling. Saying that though, the company that she's using here, this particular gold mask, whilst they don't disclose the full ingredient list on their website, it does look like it's basically in a hyaluronic acid, which is fine to use with derma rolling. But still, the markup price is ridiculous and it's just being used all wrong. Derma rollers, derma stampers aren't something that you can just use willy-nilly within your routine. And none of these videos show any type of preparation of the product as well. How sanitary you have to be, how careful you have to be, how you have to take the time out to do it. And especially with the Instagram beauty influencers, you have to wait at least 48 hours after derma rolling to apply makeup, not go straight into applying makeup. It's very misleading and something like this can also be very, very dangerous. Another one that these Instagram beauty influencers do, and they know they're doing it wrong, but they do it for visual reasons, is applying products straight from the pump bottle, from the squeezy tube, onto their skin. I don't know why they do this, because it's obviously not how you use a product. And I guess actually technically it's a good way of showing the bottle of the product. You know, instead of like having to do this, like I do, I guess like applying it straight to the skin with a bottle is a good and quick way of showing you the product and what it looks like on the skin whilst you have, you know, how many seconds do you have for a YouTube, Instagram video nowadays? I don't know. So first of all, it's unsanitary. You don't touch your skin. We know this with like dropper tools. The ends are the pumps. You don't put your skin in direct contact with the bottle. It's also just a really complicated way to apply your product. It's very, very weird. But then a lot of these Instagram makeup artists especially like do things like apply their products with a shoe or like an iron. So in comparison. However, especially with the pump bottles and the droppers, I find that they're a good way to kind of gauge how much product you actually need. A lot of products will actually choose a pump that gives you a 1 pump is enough kind of ratio. So 1 pump, fine. But also they usually say in the packaging, like 1 pump, add 1 or 2 pumps to the palm of your hands, not 10 to your face. So it's again, just a waste of product and it's unsanitary, but I guess it's a good way to show the texture of the product and the packaging. And I have to say, as a YouTuber, professional YouTuber, when you get products for free, you do tend to overuse the product because you didn't pay for it. Especially me with moisturizers, I apply it all to my face, all down my neck, then like all down my arms, you know, I put it everywhere because I didn't pay for it. So I'm like, this isn't a waste of money. But I would never sit on YouTube and tell you that that's the way to apply a product. Just want to talk about one thing I've seen a lot on YouTube recently as well, especially in like with the bigger male, a lot of my audience is mainly female, so you probably don't know a lot of the bigger male YouTubers. Clean beauty is a really good option to go for if you've got sensitive skin, but it's also very misleading as far as things like scaremongering amongst parabens, SLS, alcohol, things like that. But what a lot of people are doing is taking on paid sponsorships or brands ones that actually say they're fragrance free, they pretend they're all natural, when really they're packed with natural fragrance. We all know I'm not someone that avoids fragrance, but I also don't look for it in my product. But if you're gonna sit there and push a product because of how clean it is and how good for your skin it is, and say it's fragrance free, but then not mention the essential oils in it and the natural fragrance in it, it's very misleading. It's very misleading. And if the whole idea is that it's better for your skin because it doesn't contain parabens or certain alcohols, don't then start piling essential oils on your skin, you know? It's a little bit like of a mixed message, but that's just a personal little rant. So a big mistake that a lot of YouTubers especially make is working for brands that they think is completely free of any kind of irritants, but not really doing their homework and looking at what terms like fragrance free actually means. I always finish on a bit of a personal rant, like one that annoys me personally. But please, if you're not already, go and follow the people I talked about in this video. Their content is actually really, really cool. And they introduce you to a lot of new products as well. We're all still learning. I'm no specialist in any form or any way. I'm still learning. I look at videos I made a year ago and I'm like, what am I talking about? Dermatologists, estheticians, chemists, we're all still learning, so we're all gonna make mistakes. But please tell me what's the craziest thing you've seen on an Instagram as a video. Leave that in the comments down below. But that's it from me now, guys. I will see you next time.